Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, part of the Kings of Horror Network. This is ML Miller. Being an enormous Friday the 13th fan, I'll always leap at the opportunity to talk about Camp Blood's favorite son. Recently, a new name has come up in connection to the Friday the 13th franchise. None other than the master of horror prose himself, Stephen King. Now, all of this is just speculation and hypothetical talk, as ownership of the Friday the 13th series is still up for grabs in court as Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller battle it out to see who owns the rights. This thing's been going on for years, and honestly, it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. So all of this should be taken with a grain of salt. But damn it if this tidbit of news didn't get my juices going. So King recently tweeted, "The best novel idea I never wrote, and probably never will, is I, Jason, the first-person narrative of Jason Voorhees and his hellish fate, killed over and over again at Camp Crystal Lake. What a hellish existential fate." Again, this is all just King what-ifing around, but I'm completely down with this idea. While there have been plenty of takes on Jason, very few have been able to go into the head of the monstrous slasher and tell us just what it is like to die over and over, only to return bigger, tougher, and madder than ever. A writer of King's talent would be just the jolt necessary to get those lawyers moving on this case and get it settled so something can be made of all of this, as teaming a monstrous franchise with arguably the biggest name in horror guarantees a massive payday. A film that basically takes the Groundhog's Day, Happy Death Day approach where Jason is murdered only to be brought back over and over again would be a fun way to celebrate the 13th installment of the Friday the 13th property, as it would look back on the series as well as move the story forward. Now, I know King is talking about a novel here, but with King's propensity to get his films adapted pretty quickly, and with the focus being on cinema's most notorious serial killer, an adaptation is most definitely a sure thing. This little tweet excites me for two reasons. One, I had no idea King was a Friday the 13th fan. It's so cool to know that he is an appreciator of the series, enough to come up with an interesting and original pitch about it. And two, isn't the timing of this a little weird for King to tweet this out of the blue like this? Sure, King says it will most likely never be made, but why tweet about it if he wasn't sort of fishing around to see if this is an idea his fans and the horror world would get behind? To me, this feels like King is not getting his hopes up, but would jump at the chance to write I, Jason once the rights are freed up. And whoever wins the court battle would be brain dead not to take King up on his offer. Now I know King's endings leave a lot to be desired, but a story that basically follows Jason's journey from a bullied child to innocent drowning victim, to witness of his mother's death, to following in his mother's murderous footsteps, to dying at the hands of Tommy Jarvis, and then returning over and over again, would certainly be a revitalizing take on the story that, in my opinion, has been stagnant since part 7. I don't think I really want to hear Jason's voice, not even an inner monologue, as I think insight is not one of Jason's stronger suits. I don't think an eloquently written stream of consciousness is something honorable to the character. Then again, I don't want to read a 300-page first-person point-of-view story of a monosyllabic special needs person either. So it would be important what type of first-person narrative King is talking about. Knowing that some of King's best stories are told in the first person, I have faith he would be able to work around the technicalities. More interestingly, though, at least to me, would be a first-person story told from the perspective of Pamela Voorhees. Sure, we get the soliloquy at the end of the original film that sums up everything pretty nicely, but I'd love to read about Pamela's story through a Stephen King lens. It might clear up all of those debates about whether Jason was alive or dead while the original was taking place. A story of this sort was written for the Wildstorm Friday the 13th comics a few years ago by Mark Andreyko, but an updated version through King's eyes would be awesome. Some of the books released in the 90s ventured into Jason Voorhees' big old noggin a bit. I've read Hell Lake and Church of the Divine Psychopath. The former dealt quite a bit about Jason's experiences fighting scores of demons in hell and battling to return to Earth. So this isn't entirely a new concept. Even if nothing comes of this, King's tweet is the most exciting Friday the 13th news I've heard since the release of Tom Savini's new Jason Voorhees design for the video game dropped. Any Voorhees news is better than just another update that says the case is still ongoing. All I know is that with the news of a new Scream, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween films all in various stages of production, I hope Cunningham and Miller come to some kind of agreement soon so they can cash in on this new slasher craze. What do you guys think of the idea of I, Jason, penned by Stephen King? Let me know down below in the comments. Well, that's it for today for ML Miller Frights. If you dug this video, hit the like button, share it with all your friends across social media. Be sure to visit ML Miller Writes for written reviews, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you know when my next video will drop. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to live inside.